right, guys, so we're gonna do some more quarantine cooking. So we're gonna roast this chicken, and I'm gonna do a bunch of different things with it, and I'm gonna show you guys what I'm going to do with it. So we raise our own chicken. So this is one of our chickens, and I'm gonna roast this whole, and we're going to make a meal out of that. So I'm gonna roast this whole. We're gonna remove the breasts, and then I'm going to also make some broth with this. I'm gonna pull that meat, and then I'm gonna decide on a couple of other things. I probably will make a chicken pot pie, and I'll show you guys that. And then I'll probably make some chicken salad, and I will show you guys that as well. So what I do is, because now I said, this is quarantine cooking, right? So I had some veggies in my fridge that were some of them were going bad. So what I decided to do was, instead of wasting any of that, because like I said, right now we don't want to waste anything, we want to use everything up, right? So I had some carrots, I chopped those up. I had a turnip, I chopped that up. There's also some garlic in here. Some of it was starting to sprout. See the sprouts on it? I threw that in there. I had a couple of onions, some parsnips, some green onions, looks like some parsley, I think. Oh, some carrot tops, and that kind of stuff. And then I had some celery, some fresh celery, and I took a fresh celery stalk and just ripped it into pieces. Because after we pull the chicken out, the breasts out, like I said, we're going to make stock. Now what I do to do my stock is I will take half of these vegetables now. I'm going to dump them in here. Okay. And then this other half I'm going to save, and I'm going to dump this into my Instant Pot. And the reason that I'm doing that is because when these vegetables roast, I think there's some celery heart here too. When these vegetables roast up with the chicken, they are going to take on a different flavor profile. And when I put my rest of my chicken carcass into the pot and fill it up with water, and we do the broth, you're going to see the richest, most golden broth ever. It is so good like this. I'm adding in the more raw vegetables that I froze because I want that flavor profile in addition to the roasted. And I want the extra nutrients that the raw vegetables are going to supply me. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get this in the pan. I'm going to rub it with my spice rub, and I'll tell you what's in my spice rub. I've got a teaspoon of paprika, a tablespoon of olive oil, a teaspoon of salt, a dash of pepper, half a teaspoon each of onion powder and garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of oregano. So I'm going to take the chicken out. I'm going to pull out, this does have the heart and kidneys and all that, and organ meats are really good for you. I don't like the flavor of them, like to just eat them straight. So I put them in my broth, and then I take them out and I feed them to my dogs. So we're going to use everything, okay? So I'm going to get this in the pan. I'm going to get my insides in here, and then we're going to stick this in the fridge while this roasts, and I will show you that all when I come back. Guys, I've got my chicken in my pan. I have put the spice rub on. I am going to fold the arms back. Okay. Or the wings, rather. Arms. Okay. That makes it look nicer. Gets a little more airflow into the underneath of the wing and underneath the breast. Okay. That's going to go in the oven at 350 for a little over an hour. These usually take, my birds average 6 pounds. So I find that these usually take about an hour and 10 or an hour and 20 minutes. And when I check it after the hour is up, I'm going to check it at the hour mark, and then I'm going to add the extra 10, and I'm going to keep adding the extra 10 until the deepest part of this breast gets to 165. Okay. And it's always a good thing to have a meat thermometer, because You guys do not want to be eating raw or undercooked poultry. So let's pop this in the oven. And then I have my insides that I dumped in and the rest of the raw veggies, and that's gonna go in the fridge for now. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna show you this too. So in terms of the quarantine cooking again, for our broth, once our chicken is done roasting, we're gonna make our, we're gonna put in juice from an entire lemon. And so what I've done here is, so that I don't waste any part of the lemon, I used my zester and I zested off all the lemon peel before I cut the lemon in half and juiced it. And then I'm going to take my lemon peels and I'm going to put them in a bag in my freezer, and I use that to make my sprays for my garden to keep the pests away. One of the things that a lot of pests don't like is citrus. And so this is going to help with that. And then once those are done boiling, it will go to my compost. These are going to get put in a bag and put in my freezer. And there are several different recipes where I use lemon zest. And so I will be able to take this out and use it at a later time. Guys, so this is a kind of a good lesson. So I took the chicken out after an hour. And I can already tell you just by looking at it that it is not done. Usually when they're done, they have a really nice golden brown to the skin, and the skin is crispy, and the skin is not. This bird might have been ever so slightly still frozen because I had taken it out of the freezer and put it right in the fridge 2 days ago. So it might have still been like a tiny bit frozen inside. And that could take a little, make it take a little bit longer. Never mind that. That's just an alarm. But we're at 116. We need to be at 165. So I'm going to put this back in until it's done. Okay, so I just took this out. It's now at 165. And where I'm going to cut, this right here is the breastbone. So I'm going to cut on either side of that, on both of these, and remove the, and then over here, all the way across here and underneath. And that's going to remove these two. Okay. Oh, okay, guys. So I have cut out and removed the breasts from the chicken. And I took all of those roasted vegetables and everything that was in the pan, all the drippings, and I put all of that into the Instant Pot. And now I am going to fill the Instant Pot up to the fill line with water, right up to that 2/3 max. Okay, and what else I have put in here? I've also put juice from a whole lemon, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, a bay leaf, a teaspoon of salt, a dash of pepper, a teaspoon of oregano, and that, and a teaspoon of turmeric. Okay, and we're going to fill it up to that max fill line, and then I'm going to put this on the manual setting on my Instant Pot for 2 hours. I'm going to put this on the slow release option for the minimum of 2 hours. A lot of times I'll go to bed overnight, let it slow release throughout the night, and then in the morning it's ready to strain, and I'm going to pick all of that chicken meat off, and that's what we're going to make our chicken salad with, and a couple of other things. Okay, so it's the next morning. I've pulled the broth out of the Instant Pot. It is still hot, and I'm going to strain this, and I'll show you guys my setup. This is my steamer. And it's just a large stock pot with a steamer basket. If you didn't have this, you can totally just use, I have a colander, and I've definitely used this before too. Like if I was already using this for something, I've used my colander. So you just want to find something that you can pour into that's big enough to hold enough liquid, like the liquid that you have. I have strained it out. Look how dark that is. Doesn't that look awesome? It's really, really good. That makes like the absolute best soup ever. I've strained that out, and then I've got my chicken in here in the colander, and I just stuck it back in the Instant Pot, and there's nothing else. There's nothing in here. It will drip out a little bit more liquid, and I'll transfer that over when it does. And then I am going to pick all of the meat off of the chicken, and I'm actually going to put all of the bones back in the Instant Pot, and we're going to do this again. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when you raise chickens yourself, or even if you buy like the pasture raised ones at the store, they tend to have a better bone density, and they have more minerals and stuff still left in the bone. And I'll show you guys. You're actually going to get another batch of really rich broth out of the same chicken. Broken open one of these bones and look inside that, you guys. There's a lot left in there in the marrow. So when I pick all of that meat off and I put it back on, it's going to make just as rich a broth as the first batch. And then I just combine the 2 batches. All right, guys, that's the end of part 1. So check back with me for part 2 so that you can see what else I am making. We're going to make all of these things out of one chicken. This is Jace practicing his writing.
I'm not practicing writing. Hi, guys.